Back with the Marvel Star Wars Omnibus, Volume 2. We're talking about two issues written by David Michelini, which are Star Wars issues 51 and 52. Luke, Leia, Chewie, and the droids are sent to take down a new Imperial superweapon called the Tarkin, because they're the ones who traverse the Death Star, so they're the only ones, I guess, equipped to do that. Meanwhile, Vader is overseeing the Tarkin, and he wants to set up a trap for Luke. And of course, Lando is trying to redeem himself in the eyes of his friends and the rebellion for the betrayal in Empire Strikes Back. What did I think? Oh, and also, there's a group of Imperial officers that are sick of Vader killing their comrades, so they're going to try to assassinate Vader while he's setting up this trap for Luke. When I think of issues 51 and 52, this is what happens when someone sees that a comic book is floundering and they're like, I can fix this. That's what David Michelini did. These are two of the best issues this comic has ever had. Not to mention that the art is superb in this. I mean, talk about like actually caring. And this is the start of the change from these early Marvel issues in this series are very wordy. We're starting to get a little less text, letting the art kind of take over, and that's kind of what the Marvel 80s was about, was really that, until it got just too many splash pages and they had to go back a little bit. But comics are a visual medium, so less text boxes the better typically. Unless your art's like particularly bad and your author's pretty good at writing in general, that then like we don't need to be Chris Claremont, okay? Like, no one likes overly wordy comics. I mean, I'm sure now that I say that, someone's going to be butthurt about that in my comments, but it is true. If we're reading a comic book, we want to see what the action. We don't need it read to us, because typically, if they're doing that, that means that the art's failing in some sort of way. And so I think it's a disservice to the artist when you do that. But yeah, I like this. Another little tidbit: Luke's not using a lightsaber, because why would he? This boggles my brain how Marvel editorial messed that up immediately after Empire Strikes Back, and like Archie Goodwin messed that up. Like, it's very clear Luke loses his lightsaber. Where do you get this new lightsaber from? Now, I know in the new canon he finds one of those Temple Guard lightsabers from the Filoni Clone Wars, and he's using that. But this is pretty clearly his lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber, the Skywalker lightsaber, that he's using in a lot of these comics. And it's one of the reasons I think that Marvel's Star Wars was just not considered canon until after the prequels were done. And people like Troy Denning said, well, we can try to fix things here. And you know, with him bringing Lamaya into Legacy of the Force, and like something like Matthew Stover's Luke Skywalker in the Shadows of Mindor tying up some stuff, you know, that was when we started seeing, okay, Marvel stuff's now C canon. Like, let's fix the continuity. But this is one of those things that just never really was fixed. And it wouldn't be difficult to fix it. Like, take someone like Abel G. Pena that fixed the continuity error in the first Marvel annual, with his novella Skywalkers. It's very clear he could have done something. Just have a little short story that says, oh, Luke found a lightsaber at some point in his travels between A New Hope and Empire. Because, I mean, Shadows of the Empires are definitive. This is where Luke's lightsaber, his green one, comes from. but maybe he had another lightsaber. Maybe it didn't work, and it's how he started learning how lightsabers are put together. Because he fixes things. He did that on the moisture farming. He's no Anakin per se, but like he's not dumb. Like he could have figured it out by like, just having another lightsaber to take apart, and then maybe it explains why the lightsaber looks different from A New Hope to Empire. They made the like. I know the real reason is they had more money and they made things look nicer in Empire than they did in A New Hope. I mean, hell, Darth Vader's helmet, you can see your reflection in it basically in Empire, but in A New Hope, it's got fingerprints all over it. Like they didn't care. That movie was behind and over budget. Like it was very touch and go with that. So some things just didn't look right to George, so he would change it later and then act like it was always that way. Or maybe this is the lightsaber that we see in the holiday special. That would be fun too. I don't know. Anyway, what would I rank these two issues? A solid 5 out of 5. I know that they wanted to do another Death Star, and Lucas stepped in and said no. I don't know if he said it was that was the plot of Return of the Jedi or not, but that's kind of fun. And it's kind of shocking that they didn't want to do this sooner. I kind of appreciate Marvel and their creativity overall. Like both Archie Goodwin and David Michelini and Joe Duffy, although she hasn't really been in this book yet. We'll get to her stuff soon enough. But yeah, this is time for the David Michelini run, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So, anyway, have a nice day.